Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome, and if you're not new, welcome back. My name is Mez, and today I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks you can use while training. So I'm just going to be kind of training in the background, and you guys will kind of hear my tips as we go along. The first tip is before you even start training, move to a dead server. Some dead servers I recommend are probably like Poppy Moon. I don't know if Freezing Crater is still dead, but yeah, those are some dead servers you might want to go to. The reason being, you don't want to get stopped all the time in the middle of training. You want to stay in the zone and focused. Make sure that you're always concentrated on training and everything. Yeah, that's the first tip. The next tip is to have a set training route. This can definitely keep you on task and keep you focused. It just depends on where your home stable is, but I have my training route always written in front of me. I don't really write it, I typed it out and then just put it in like a laminator. Oops. It's laminated, so now I can just go on with dry erase markers and just mark the ones that I'm done with. I will be linking some or I guess I can link my training route. I would recommend moving home stables to kind of follow a certain training route. I personally just moved my home stable to, I think, Valedale. So, yeah, now I have my training route over there, like kind of based around Valedale. So, yeah. My next tip is to try and trailer as little as possible. So, why try and trailer as little as possible? Well, of course, you save Jorvik shillings and everything. You are definitely going to be wanting to save those. And if you use star coins on the trailer, I'm sorry, you're crazy. But, I mean, you're not crazy. I'm just joking. But, and that kind of goes along with my last tip to have a training route and everything. You just want to be able to know where to go without having to trailer. So because I have it in Valedale, I have my training route in front of me. I first have the Druid training, then I have the Valedale races, which is technically Greendale, like the Greendale Woods races thing. And then I have the zombie pole bending, and now I have Fir Grove. So those are kind of all in like an order of which I can run to instead of having to trailer everywhere. Sometimes I get lazy and I'll just go over to Valedale Lake instead of having to run all the way over, but just try and have a route where you don't have to trailer super often because we are trying to save moolah here. You might be thinking, Mez, why are you trying to give me tips? You literally suck at training. Your series name is called Terrible Training.
Well, my friend, I am a terrible trainer.
But you can learn from my mistakes. I have picked up on a lot of things that kind of help me along with training as well as staying motivated to train and things that I just have learned as, I've gone along training. So, yeah. My next tip is to always have food or water near you. So this is kind of for the procrastinators. I know I'm one of these people. I'm always like, oh, I'll go ahead and, do that and I'll just, I'll quickly go get some water. And then the next thing you know, I'm 3 hours deep into YouTube watching all of these videos and procrastinating on training. So always have water and food next to you if you can. Unless you don't want your desk to be a mess, then I suggest you just kind of like eat before training. But yeah, if you guys want a video on my training route, definitely tell me in the comments below. I will be, kind of sharing that if you guys want, if that's a video you'd like. Yeah. My next tip while training is to never, ever, ever look at your XP bar. Now, this one's kind of hard for me, and you might be wondering why. Well, if you are kind of, and especially if you're going through the higher levels of training, like between levels, I think it's like 11 through 15, like if you're trying to train through there, it can be super frustrating. You're doing your 250 XP race and your bar moves up maybe like a quarter of a centimeter. It can be really frustrating. So after a race, you don't really want to be looking at your XP bar. So, yeah, just, keep your eyes down at your horse. Don't look at your XP bar necessarily. But yeah. My next tip would be to train often. Now, this one might come as a shocker to you because um, I don't really follow this rule, but I try and train often, especially the same horse. So if you're training every day for, let's say, 30 minutes, maybe you don't even complete your whole route or all of the races. If you just train for 30 minutes a day, you will have your horses done in at least 2 weeks, at the very least. Not all of your horses, but one horse. So, yes, make sure you're always training. You want to always be doing it constantly to see that, you know, I don't even, I'm looking for the word, but you want to see progress. That's what I was thinking. You want to be able to see the progress. You don't want to have to be like, my horse has been stuck on this level for like months and months and months. I don't really want to train. I'm unmotivated. If you're just consistent with your training and everything, progress will come. You just have to stick with it. Now, my next tip is to be training the same horse. So make sure, I like to do this where at the beginning of the week, I'll pick a horse that I need to train. And then every day before and after school, I will, do the races. I will hyper focus on one horse, which some people actually don't like doing, which I find kind of weird. My next tip is to invite friends to train. You might not know it, but some friends will actually need to train a lot of horses, and you can just ask them. So I recommend to do this if you have a lot of time on your hands or if you are bored. This is kind of this is kind of segueing into things to do while you're things to keep you motivated while racing, but having friends there is always helpful. It kind of keeps your moods high. You can make jokes about training and stuff. I always do this with my club. If someone is on, I'm like, hey, you want to train? Most of the time they're like, oh yeah, sure. Or they're like, oh, I'm busy, which is fine. It's okay to be said no to. It's okay. My next tip is to have some form of distraction. Now, this is going to vary person to person. Like, of course, I might like to listen to music while I'm training, but you might hate listening to music. This is definitely something that is going to vary depending on the type of person you are. But for me, I definitely recommend watching YouTube videos. I like watching Star Stable videos and like animations and stuff. Also, watching movies. That is really, really fun. Just doing other things to kind of distract yourself from training. Sometimes I even make videos like this one. I was actually training before this and I was like, you know what? I think I should make a video. And I love making videos. So this kind of like distracts me and makes me think that I'm not actually training because I'm having fun. Which, not to say training can't be fun, but I think we can all agree that training can get boring from time to time. So, you know, some examples of distractions would be Netflix, like shows on Netflix, maybe a show you like. I don't really have any shows to recommend because I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's like my go-to show, but I've watched it too many times at this point for it to be healthy anymore. So I need to take a break. Need to slow down. Another example of a distraction would be what's the word? Music. Like I mentioned before, I have a playlist on Spotify of just music I love. This is mostly consisting of Billie Eilish music. I love her. She's great. Love her. We love that. But yeah, so that's basically what I do while I'm training. If you ever see me out and about and I'm just racing a whole lot, you can probably, just deduct the fact that I am listening to Billie Eilish. So yeah, I have an entire playlist on Spotify and everything, and I just put my headphones in and ready to go. Another example of a distraction would be to watch I think they're called true crime shows. I don't know what they're no, they're not true crime shows. These are like scary stories. So sometimes on YouTube I'll look up scary stories animated from this guy called Llama Arts. He does an absolutely amazing job at these stories and he animates them and everything. And during races you're supposed to be focused, but sometimes you just get distracted. So I like watching his scary stories animated. Oop, got flung up. But yeah, that's another really good one is watching scary stories animated or just scary stories in general. I know Corpse Husband does a really good scary stories. He has really long, 3 hour long compilations of just horror stories, so that's another good one. Another good one is watching TikToks. I know that, this is kind of a more common one, but I love TikTok. So, yeah, I think looking up TikToks, maybe just going on your For You page and just scrolling through. Though I don't really like TikTok for training necessarily because you kind of have to scroll every like 60 seconds, so it gets kind of annoying after a while. Unless you want to play like one video on repeat, which
You do you, gal. Like, I'm not stopping you, but
that just ain't for me. So yeah, TikTok and training don't really match well with me, but I don't know. How in the world are you supposed to get up here? Do you see that star all the way up there? How are you even supposed to get there? Like, how? Just fly? I don't think so, honey bunny. Also, guys, don't worry. It's not this late, like, for me. Um, I just am on a server that is in a different time zone than me. So, it is not, like, if you notice, it's pretty dark. But it's actually not that late. I think it's, like, 7 something. It's not super late. The next tip to do while training is pretty self-explanatory, and I think most people do this, but some people forget, is to turn on competitions in your map. If you go to the map, there's like a little thing. If you go to map icons and you scroll down, there are daily competitions that you can turn on so that you know exactly where all of the dailies are, so you can make sure to hit every single one of them. Another tip to kind of like stay motivated while racing is to set goals for yourself. So maybe like you want to get to a certain level before the end of the day, or sometimes I'll even like make the goal of just, completing all of my races. Something. It can be anything. You could even just go up one level and that would be it for you for the day. Like that's completely fine. Just set up goals before your training time and just go for it. Another tip, so my training route like consists of doing the what we just did, the orientating thingy, like doing all the checkpoints, and then I have to go to Fort Pinta. Now, this was, my training route was made before the whole update with Redwood Point, but now if you want, when you're done with, I guess, missed fall races, you can just hop on over to Fort Pinta for free instead of having to take the trailer, which is, we're trying to save, Jorvik shillings here, sis. You like scramble together any way you can.
Bust down. Bust down, Tatiana. Bust down, Tatiana. I want to see you bust.
My next tip for training would be to make racing outfits. So this one might seem a little bit silly to some of you, but when you're training and you're traveling, around the map, it can be very frustrating when you are super duper slow. So I would suggest making an outfit before you go train. This is kind of like a very simple little thing. I like kind of coordinating myself, making myself look semi presentable. But yeah, it just makes me feel a lot more motivated to go do races because I'm like, oh yeah, look good, feel good, fake it till you make it, baby. And on that note, I think I'm going to end today's video. I did give you guys quite a bit of tips, but if you'd like to see a part 2, I will definitely make that. Make sure to tell me in the comments below what you thought of today's video, if you found any of these tips helpful. I hope I helped at least one of you kind of train a little bit better, maybe more efficiently, stay motivated, that sort of stuff. So yeah, if you liked this video, please leave a thumbs up, and if you really liked this video, make sure to share it with a friend. I will see you all next time. Bye!